Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with us. We are here with Rigo Arce, who is the owner of Rigo Pest Prevention. And during the break and also before the show, we were talking about something that's happening that you haven't seen, and we're talking about packrats and how them. And I don't know, we talked about, you said inside rats or mice or whatever those things are. Can you explain it to, and then a little bit about how bad they are.
Yeah,
right
now. Anybody that's lived in Tucson long enough knows the packrat is, the the one nemesis that plagues, our automobiles and our landscaping and our patio furniture. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, they like to get up in the attic space. So, in the rodent world in Tucson, packrat is sort of king, right? But we've got packrats, we've got what's called field rodents.
Right.
Okay. They literally burrow in the soil. They live out in the desert. We've got various types of ground squirrels, cute little chipmunk-looking sort of dudes. And then we've got house mouse that, interestingly enough, man, we have been getting a lot of calls on the house mouse. And this is a rodent that lives indoors, hence the word house mouse. And we just, for some reason, this winter, just an influx of those phone calls. And so we're doing a lot of trapping, helping people, get them removed. Typically, they're brought in, transported in through cargo or merchandise or storage or something like that. Different parts of Tucson, they do live outdoors, close-knit homes like Midtown, mm-hmm. alleyways, homes that are really close to one another. But man, for some reason, we're just getting a lot of that this time of year.
I think you helped one of our clients who had trees that were growing over the roof, and so it was super easy access from the wash behind the house to the tree to inside the house. And you guys did a great job, just kind of not only taking care of the rodents that were in the home, but also then the prevention side, making sure that all the access points were closed up.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We've talked about it on this show a number of times, the idea of prevention, but sealing up those openings up on top of the roof and around the eaves, making sure the garage door is sealed good, your front and back entries, the sliding door, screens on windows, all these various things. These are all best practices.
Right.
And making sure all those areas are tight and screened is definitely paramount, to keep the rodent intrusion into the roof line up in the attic. I got to tell you, I have the most amazing photograph of a packrat that I spotted, and he was on the stucco wall of the house, the outside of the house, about halfway up, and he was facing down.
Whoa.
Okay. And I took the picture, and the moment I took the picture, which blew my mind, by the way, he literally turned around and then ran up on the roof and disappeared. And so the idea of the trees, Sandra, you brought, certainly trees mm-hmm. touching is a big deal, but frankly,
they can
just crawl right up stucco all day long. And so tree or no tree, they're amazing. The way they make their way up the structure. It's pretty wild. So.
Yeah, it sounds like superheroes only in the pest world.
Superheroes.
So we can't call them heroes.
Bionic rodents. I always tell people, I was just at a house the other day, and they have some major packrat issues. But when it was all said and done, they just needed to simply clean the place up. Mm-hmm. Someone had maybe a year or 2, 5 years ago already made an effort to screen all up on the roof,
right.
The roof vents, roof voids, bird block vents, all these different openings. So that was done. There were no sounds of them in the attic space. There were just droppings all over, by the grill and by the AC unit and over here and over there. But they had a lot of clutter and they had a lot of debris and I told them, listen, clean everything up. Make this place very inhospitable. Move things away from the house. Mm-hmm. Make sure the storage unit is away from the block wall. Mm-hmm. They have a little shed. Move it away so they can't get behind it where it's dark. And basically what you're doing is you're trying to tell these rodents, there's nothing fun here, okay? My yard is sterile, and you're going to be bored. Go somewhere else.
And there's nowhere to hide.
And when you do that, you've got a fighting chance. Now, I would never tell them you're never going to see another rat.
Right.
But you have definitely made it an environment that's not fun. And that's a real game changer when you do that.
And Rigo's Pest Prevention also has a program for that, for pack rats and things like that also.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely will provide the exclusion work. We call it exclusion or proofing, up on the roof. We'll go ahead and do trapping. If they're up in the attic space, we'll remove them. If they're in a prickly pear or making their nests out in certain landscaping or cactus, We do that as well, break down the nest, remove, the excess debris. The other day I was up on a roof. I'll tell you what folks need not do, and that is do not screen your dryer vent. In fact, I'll show you both before we leave today. I was up on the roof looking at this home, and somebody screened the dryer vent, and it was completely blocked with lint.
Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
blocked. And so I can't even imagine how deep it went down the tube, if you would, the exhaust tubing for that vent. And so I told them, we need to remove that, and we did. And I took out a thing of lint about this long.
It's about
12 inches.
12
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And that's a fire hazard. That's pretty
Yes.
serious.
Right.
Yeah, and just to be clear, so, when people thinking about their dryers venting, a lot of them do vent up through the roof.
That's right.
And so it's kind of defying gravity already, but then when you get it clogged like that, you have a huge...
You have a liability, yeah. So make sure you do not screen your dryer vents, folks. Don't do that.
However, let's talk about chimneys.
Yeah, so chimneys typically, by code, they should have what's called a spark arrestor. It's a type of screening that allows the smoke and ventilation to go out, but it also controls sparks, because certainly sparks in the desert is a bad thing, So there should be a spark arrestor up on top of the chimney. If that's done, then certainly it's going to prevent birds and rodents from getting in, but it's going to allow that all-important smoke to vacate, the chimney. So you definitely want to have somebody look at that if you're not sure if that's in place or not. Yeah.
You were saying?
Yeah, we actually, when my family first moved to Tucson, we had raccoons in our chimney. And that first fire was not pleasant.
Yikes.
I've thought about that a lot recently now that I'm in my own home and having fires where I'm the one who's in control of it. And every little noise makes me wonder if there's a raccoon up there.
You wouldn't think we have those in the desert,
Yeah,
but we
I didn't
do.
realize they were here until
Well-
I saw my first one. That blew me away.
Yeah, we had purchased a house that had koi ponds, but they also had a dog. So as soon as the owner left, those koi were looking really good to that raccoon. And every night, there'd be one more down.
And you said we'd have an issue with termites also at this time. You guys are busy.
Yeah, we definitely are. They actually this year, late 22 going into 23, it was actually a little quiet. All the termite companies, we communicate together, and it just seemed kind of a lower pressure than normal. But man, it has absolutely exploded all of a sudden. These winter rains have really just caused a lot of things to propagate.
Yeah.
Termites love that moisture, as you know, and they're really beginning to move. I think we're going to have quite the season over the next 90 days, right before that heat, that real dry heat hits, come May, June, which, by the way, is the driest time of the year. That's when termites are the quietest. I think March, April, and May are going to be ridiculous. So anybody looking for employment, please give me a call. We're going to need some strong backs for termite control in Tucson. Yeah.
We want to let you know that you're listening to Ray and Sandra on the I Am Real Estate Show. This is sponsored by the Johnson Smith team, which is Ray Smith, Sandra Johnson, and Danielle Johnson. You listen to the show on 10:30 a.m. The Voice. We're going to be back in a few. We're just happy to have the owner of Rigo Pest Prevention, Rigo Arce, with the show, with my wife Sandra and Danielle Johnson. And just in case the kids are listening, say hi, Becky. Say hi, Noah.
I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
Nice.
The next generation to come soon. Thanks for listening, and we will be back after the break and talk a little bit more about termites and a little bit about the company. So if you know somebody looking for some employment, stay tuned.